Anything in my teeth?
Someone will put that in the chat whether there is or not. So, well, hello everyone and welcome those of you who are joining us this evening. We're very excited to host this book launch with the book by Blaine Langberg. I'd like to welcome you all. Today we have Blaine, we have Tom Pfeiffer, and we also have Aline Weiler, who is Blaine's publicist, here joining us. So I'm going to just briefly introduce the presenters this evening. Blaine is a board-certified, Harvard-trained orthodontist by day, author and stand-up comedian by night. Blaine Langberg enjoys writing and mainlining pop culture in his spare time. In addition, he's found meditation helps quiet his mind. Tonight we celebrate the launch of Blaine's award-winning debut novel, Journey of the JuBu, How a Neurotic Jew Found His Inner Bu. Blaine lives in Ridgefield with his family and can be contacted through his website at journeyofajubu.com. So Tom Pfeiffer is joining us this evening as well. He is the founder of Christmas Lake Creative, a Westport-based writers' workshop. He has authored articles for the Good Men Project, Western Magazine, and California Freemason, and is also a professional book editor, ghostwriter, and writing coach. Tom edited Journey of Ajubu and is working on both a memoir and a first novel. And you can find out more about Tom at thomasgpfeiffer.com. So the format tonight is going to be Blaine and Tom are going to do a little interview format. Blaine's then going to do a reading and read an excerpt from the novel. We'll have a little Q&A, we'll have a little pop culture. It's going to be a really fun evening. So if you have any questions as you're going along, please type them in the Q&A function in Zoom and we'll get to those a little later. So welcome, Blaine and Tom.
All right.
Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you. So Blaine, what inspired you to write Journey of Ajubu?
Good question, Tom. So I'd say life. Life inspired me. I wrote it turning around when I was turning 40. It gave me, I kind of chronicled my things I was going through. I wrote, as I like to tell people, it's not an autobiography, but you write what you know. So turning 40, I started taking a lot of classes on just how to control your mind, just to really get into learning about meditation, which I found super helpful, doing workshops, taking classes on different religions like Kabbalahism, learned a bit about Sufism, and I started to feel like it was writing for myself, but as you know, I'd taken a number of workshops with you, people started to connect to the writing, and I thought, I could be onto something here. So we started really molding this into more of a big exaggeration of what I was going through. And I was inspired to help other people, like to have them and educate them about what I learned, and make it not just about spirituality and meditation, but also make it fun and entertaining to read. So, and I would say some of the influences of my life have been obviously Seinfeld and Larry David. I find those observational humors really fun and entertaining. So I incorporated that into my book. Even the concept of the book within a book is very Seinfeldian. And when I took a lot of inspiration from books I read, like The Celestine Prophecy and Way of the Peaceful Warrior, a lot of those enlightenment self-help books. And I have like layers of that within my book, subtle references, and some not so subtle.
So it sounds like as you were turning 40 and maybe having some of these, midlife crisis types of things going on, that you were able to take the humor that you enjoyed from pop culture and turn it both a little bit on yourself and also on your characters.
That's right. Yeah, integrating some of my passions, which I love a good story. I love to be entertained. And I took that and put that throughout the novel to make it relatable and modern. But on the other hand, I'm talking about some things that, go way, way back as far as meditation and Buddhism and I thought it was fun to kind of do a mashup and mix those within the life of a neurotic Jewish dentist.
So you did not quit your job as an orthodontist to write the book, and you're still practicing. So how did you, and I know you're still writing, so how did you and how do you juggle having a full-time demanding job with writing novels?
Yeah, so I tell people, yeah, I'm not quitting my day job, so I'm still an orthodontist by day, but I don't sleep a lot at night. But so in all seriousness, I am really lucky because my wife Rachel, we can't see the people watching, but I'm sure she's out there. She's been amazing with like letting me have my hobbies, and we have a great relationship like that. She has kind of her stuff, and I branch off into my like hiking and writing. So it's funny, I guess the seed really started working at night when I was in dental school. I literally would work till like 1 or 2 in the morning, come home after the long day, have dinner with Rachel, and then go back to the library and study, prepare for the next day, and do my lab work, get ready for my patients. And when I graduated, I finished at 5. I would come home, have dinner, hang out with Rachel and then the kids. But everybody would go to bed. Well, at that time early, they stay up later now. And I would have a ton of free time. And I started going into old habits, watching a lot of TV and movies and reading. And I thought, I enjoyed that. But I just love a great story. And I wanted to kind of tell my own story, or at least tell the story that came from me. So I do, again, a lot at night. I will spend some time early in the morning to kind of fit the writing in. And I had written 2 screenplays, and I decided, I could have more control over a book and really get it out there on my own accord. So I guess just finding the time at night.
Yeah, of course, did it help that you were, that the characters in the book are involved in the same profession that you're involved in by day? So in other words, could you bring in experiences and things from your work in the office into the book?
So yeah, I mean, as we said, you write what you know. So that's been fun for me. Sometimes to just journal and not put it in anything. And then other times to take a funny situation or something humorous and then obviously exaggerate it and make it entertaining and funny. So yeah, it is helpful to have some situations or, friends, and with some dialogue and discussion, and then tweak it so that it kind of fits in the story. And I like to joke around the office, hey, that's going in the sequel.
They say with writers, everything everybody does in their life is fair game, right? Do you have either a favorite character in the book or a favorite scene in the book, or maybe a couple of things that you're really proud of, where you say, wow, that I really think I just nailed it in this with this character or with this scene?
Yeah. So it's really hard for me to pick a favorite character. That's like asking me to pick a favorite child. All of them are dear to my heart. I do have, scene-wise, there definitely are some really fun scenes. And if I'm thinking about the characters, I love them all. I would say, obviously, Adam was the first one I created. And the name isn't a coincidence, right? Adam in the Bible. And then so that was great to kind of put him on this crazy adventure to wake him up. And then Minnie, I think I loved writing her. She's the unsung hero. I channeled like how my wife reacts to things, and I really enjoyed looking at it from her perspective as I was writing. And just a little fun thing for me is Minnie stands for Minerva, right? The Roman goddess of wisdom. And that is Union College, where Rachel and I met, that is the motto of Union. They use Minerva in the motto. So that's a little Easter egg there. As far as scenes, I think, am I allowed to give spoilers on this? What do you think?
A little.
Okay.
A little.
So when Adam goes into the monastery, that to me was really fun to write, and to make it funny yet educate the reader. So that was a lot of fun. And then of course the Four Horsemen, I loved having them in some adventures. As you said, you draw inspiration from some people. So I have some good buddies from high school, and that we call ourselves that. So it was fun to just have a bit of amusing time putting the characters, based on a little bit of what it would be like when we get together.
But you even did baseball cards for the Four Horsemen, right? And put those in the book?
I did. So I'm a big baseball card fan growing up. I think the cards are still in my basement there. And I know my buddies and I used to trade cards, and it was fun to I always thought that'd be funny to just have a nice summary of each character in a baseball card. So that was fun to do, and to kind of get it within the book. It wasn't easy. It was actually challenging to get the graphics, but I learned a lot from that.
Yeah, that's original. I don't think I've ever seen that in a book before, a baseball card summary for each character. So.
Yeah, the back of the baseball card summary.
So in addition to being an entertaining story and a fun novel to read, and it's filled with comedy and all these great references to pop culture, there's a lot of wisdom in your book. It's a spiritual journey for your protagonist, Adam, and to a degree for Jacob, although he's sort of already completed his when you bring him in. But given that it's both entertaining and you have this the wisdom that you've drawn from spirituality, your own experiences, what would you say is the main lesson or set of lessons you'd like readers to draw from the book?
So I guess I consider it a parable, learning for me a lot about the body following the mind. So just how meditation can help quiet the body, how when the mind is calm and not overthinking. And Adam goes through that a lot to the extreme, to really help quiet his mind so that he can calm himself and stop his nervous twitches and the anxiety. I would love for the readers to be able to pause and say, let me learn a little bit more about meditation. And people have told me that, or relating sort of to the balance of work and home life and stress. A lot of my guy friends can relate to that. And it's fun. A lot of women have been surprising to me and come up and say, oh my God, is this really how guys think? I think that's kind of funny to unmask how guys will talk and think when they're together. And I would say, just to learn about the different religions. And I'm always happy when people are educated and entertained by my book. That my day is made when people tell me that.
What was the hardest thing about writing the book, if you could think of something, and then what was the most fun thing about writing it?
Tom, you're going off script. God, I have all these outlines and things. Okay. So I would say, for me, I like to be patient. So the hardest thing for me was to not rush it, because I would think I would be done. As you know, I worked with you a lot with it, and hand it to you, and then there'd be all these edits. So it was almost but it always made it better. It always made it to the next level and to polish it. So this was for me just a great test in patience and perseverance. And it didn't have to be done tomorrow, but I wanted it to be done tomorrow. So that was what I learned. What else did you ask, since you're off script?
The flip side, what was the most fun thing about writing it?
The collaboration. I really enjoyed working with you, and then a couple of the editors who we used, and some of my buddies. I loved when my beta readers. Is that what they're called? Beta readers?
Yep.
Or alpha readers. What happened to the alpha reader? So when they would read the book and ask me questions about it, I love the connection. So I have to admit, it's a great feeling when somebody kind of gets it. But yeah, it can be tough the other way when someone thinks Adam is such a jerk, or they can't get past the first couple chapters because there's too much pop culture. That's a little bit of a bummer. But on the other hand, it's funny the way the universe works. Like if I'm down, then all of a sudden someone will be like, I really loved your story. I connected with it. That's cool. So, and yeah, I mean, I definitely, I appreciate the journey. That's the biggest thing. And just let them see where the book goes.
Yeah. Are you working on a sequel or a second book?
So I took a break. So I actually didn't think there would be a sequel. When I finished it took a lot of energy out of me. And also promoting it was a whole second thing to learn. And that was tough. So I stopped writing and did a lot of concentrating on, the final stages of the book and getting it out there. But now the characters are speaking to me again. So, I'm working on a sequel with you and Julia and in your writing workshops. And it's been a lot of fun. So the characters are chatting again. For me, it's my goal to make it into either a movie or a TV show. I would love to see the characters come on screen. I think the dialogue would kind of pop. It'd be pretty fun. So dare to dream, in my spare time when I'm not doing braces. It'd be fun to kind of see that out there.
Terrific. Anything else you'd like to add?
I think I really am appreciative to everybody out there watching and to those who supported the project. And it's just been great. Like really, I'm thankful for all my friends and family and the support and working with you guys. It's been a lot of fun. It's been just as enjoyable for me and entertaining. And yeah, thank you.
Terrific. All right. Thanks, Blaine.
Thank you, Tom. Oh, I guess I'm reading my book now. So,
Indeed you are.
okay, I thought there was going to be another little thing. So before I start, I do want to thank people formally. So we made it this far, and I want to thank you, Leslie, and the Ridgefield Library for this wonderful Zoom event. I am reading this so I don't forget anyone. Aileen, as you like to joke, we did the pandemic pivot. You've been amazing in getting this together after the original book launch was canceled in April 5 months ago. Can you believe it? But here we are. We made it. I also want to thank a number of people who were instrumental in my journey to get here. Of course, my wife, Rachel. She's been so patient and understanding with me as I embarked on my journey to write and publish this novel. I want to mention an unsung hero, Hugh Jenkins, my English professor at Union. I'll never forget, he supported my senior project entitled Why Seinfeld is a Pop Culture Phenomenon. He taught me to write about my passions. And then, of course, my trinity of helpers, I like to call them. My mentor, Tom Pfeiffer, super thank you for interviewing me and taking time out of your schedule. And you really helped me polish the manuscript and got the book to the next level. And Randy Creamer and DJ Schwett, you guys were really instrumental in taking the book and educating me what it takes to turn a story into a real live novel. So speaking of a real live novel that's here, I'm going to be reading from Journey of Ajubu. I'm really proud to say it is an award winner. I won for American Fiction Awards in the category of humor and visionary fiction. So that was really exciting for me. Let me set the stage for everyone out there. I'm reading the first chapter of the novel where I give you my hook. We meet Dr. Jacob Silverstein. He's not your typical orthodontist. He's a novelist by night who dreams of becoming a best-selling author. Okay, remember, it's not an autobiography, but I may have taken some inspiration from my life. We meet Jacob in the middle of his lunch date with literary agent Maggie. Jacob had met Maggie at a book signing of one of her authors, and much to Jacob's delight, Maggie agreed to read Jacob's novel. So I'm going to read the scene of their lunch date. and I'm going to jump around a couple of pages for each, so you get the gist. Sorry, I'm taking some water here. Dr. Silverstein? Our ponytailed waitress bounces over in her black high-priced cafe t-shirt to refill the water glasses. She smiles, flashing a row of bright whites. I can't recall her name, but I instantly recognize those teeth. I put braces on her a couple of years ago and straightened them to perfection. Now, her incisors are starting to crowd again. My beautiful work undone. Dr. Silverstein, she continues, I'm glad I ran into you. I was on a roller coaster this summer, and my retainer fell out of my mouth when I was screaming. My teeth are moving. I know I should make an appointment, but could you possibly take a look? She bends over Maggie's salad and opens her mouth, pierced tongue just inches from the gluten-free croutons. Maggie shoots me a disbelieving stare. Although I don't need a close-up to see that without the retainer, her teeth have relapsed. I lean over to examine them. Fixing it means more money for me, but I'm so bored with braces, I could garrote myself with my wires. I grit my own teeth. Losing your retainer on a roller coaster ride? Well, that's a first. Give me a call. Abby, I reply, finally remembering her name, and we'll get you in for an impression to make you a new one. As Abby trots back to the kitchen, Maggie cannot conceal a smile. Do you get that a lot, Jake? Patients coming up to you for free checkups and drooling over lunch? Skip a couple of pages. Maggie purses her lips. Look, Jake, you're a fine writer for someone who spends all day wiring teeth. But I'll be blunt. The Adventures of Adam Freeman, DDS, doesn't work as a novel. And Adam is a total douche. Using him as your alter ego drains the book of its authenticity. But your book would work beautifully as a memoir. She pronounces it memoir with the accent on the second syllable. Spirituality books are cash cows. People eat enlightenment for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We're going to skip. Look, Maggie, I know you're trying to clear a path to success for me, but the kind of success you're talking about is the bitch goddess who steals your soul. I need to take the road less traveled here. What, the yellow brick road, Jake? Instead of following the money, I need to follow my heart. And if you can't help me with that, Jake, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Don't blow it. And my name is Jacob. Fine, Jacob. Would you be kind enough to read me your opening page? I pick up the manuscript that's sitting on our table and begin to read. The Adventures of Adam Freeman, DDS, by Dr. Jacob Silverstein, June 9th, 2014, 6 feet under. Am I dying? I think I'm dying. Can this really be it? My left arm feels numb and pain is gripping my chest. I must be dying. I'm sweating and I can't breathe. Shit, is this the end? Is this how I go? At 39, a fucking heart attack in bed? This must be how my own 6 feet under episode starts. But what a boring death. Jim Fix, the guy who wrote that running book, died while he was running. Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter, got stabbed in the chest by a stingray. Adam Freeman, DDS, ticker gives out while watching late night reruns of Seinfeld. Totally pathetic. I should probably call 911, but I don't want to wake up my wife, Minnie. She just took her Ambien and fell asleep a few minutes ago. And when Minnie gets a good night's sleep, I've got a shot at morning nookie. But if I'm dead, I forget what they call that, necro something or other. And if it's a panic attack, like the one I had before, How embarrassing to have the ambulance gurney me off for a false alarm, a mental problem, with all the neighbors watching. You can bet everyone on our street will be looking to see what the hell's happening at the Freemans at 12 a.m., then checking online tomorrow for my death notice. Ah, the pain. It's almost worse than death. And my left eye won't stop twitching. I'm ready to run my dental drill through it. I never thought it would end this way. Isn't my life supposed to flash before my eyes? Hello, God, turn on the projector. If I do croak, who will write my obituary? Who will come to the shiver for miserable old me? Who will tell a bunch of funny, poignant anecdotes, sanitize the bad stuff, and make me out to be better than I was? Can I count on my buddy Klein? Or can I trust Errol to cover for me? Oh God, breathe, Adam, breathe. Maybe it's just another panic attack. Okay, the pain's a little less now. Try to go back to sleep and hope you wake up in the morning. Maggie looks at me. What is there to like about Adam? Why do we give a damn if he dies or exists at all? He's a selfish, narcissistic, male chauvinist, a typical prick. Morning, Nookie. Honestly, Jake. I lower my head, trying to hide my dejection. And he's not your friend, she continues. He's your fucking protagonist. I look down at the remains of my burger and the mushroom stain on my tie. Maggie may as well have driven the table knife into my heart. But without Adam, I'm afraid there's no book, I whine. Without Adam, you have a future as a writer. I'll give you 24 hours. Meet me here at 1 o'clock tomorrow. I'll have a contract ready. If you want me to be your agent and sell your book, off Adam and move on. She takes a platinum Amex from her wallet and signals for the check. Our waitress walks over with it. She must see the stricken look on my face. Dr. Silverstein, are you okay? I'm fine, Abby. I force a smile. And thank you for the lovely lunch, Ms. Christensen. You know, Maggie snaps her wallet shut. I'll pay tomorrow if we have a deal. This one's on you, Jake. And with that, she swooshes out of the high-priced cafe in her 4-inch heels, leaving me with the high-priced tab. I look over at Abby, the waitress, and shrug. She smiles at me with one corner of her mouth and whispers, "What a bitch." Thank you.
That was great, Blaine. So now we do have a couple of questions in the Q&A. So let's see what we have here. Now I know you did touch on this earlier, but can we expect a sequel? Looking forward to it. So you've got to do it now.
Yes, I am writing the sequel. Hopefully it won't take me 7 more years. We're moving along, but I have some fun adventures for the crew.
Cool. Okay. And Stephen here is asking, are the characters based on real life people you know? And I know you also mentioned some friends of yours. So
yeah, so I took different personalities, types, I would say, of people I know, and I kind of mashed them up and jumbled them. But yeah, definitely I have a good group of friends. In fact, one of them, his birthday's today. Glassman, happy birthday if you're watching. And I mashed him up a little bit, but my buddies are named the Four Horsemen. We kind of joke. So I drew inspiration from, from fun things like that. I've drawn inspiration from actually some of my friends who are orthodontists. They told me some crazy stories in their office, and I was able to kind of exaggerate them. And yeah, so it's not an autobiography, but I definitely drew inspiration from things. There's one funny scene where like a breath mint drops into the patient's mouth. That's never happened to me, but I always, like, I imagined once, my God, that would be horrible if that happened. So I put it in the novel just to see what would happen with that.
great. And have you ever visited a monastery?
So great question. I've been, there's a monastery in Carmel, New York, and I've been there a number of times with some friends. Actually went with my family once. We walked around, and sometimes I'll go. They have a great trail. It's closed now, I believe, for obvious reasons. I've never done an overnight stay in the monastery, so that is a fictionalized account. I did a lot of research before I wrote that, and I exaggerated, like, obviously how Adam would be, but I've never done an overnight stay. I'd actually like to, but I visited.
Cool, great.
And definitely, if you guys are, anybody's interested, the one in Carmel is amazing. So hopefully they open up soon.
Okay, have you found any conflict or contradiction between being Jewish and Buddhism?
So there's actually a lot written on that. I'm not the only Jewish Buddhist, so I would say it's not something I like joined or anything like that, but I read a lot of books on, and I wanted to, kind of get it out there. There's a great book called The Jew and the Lotus, The Jew and the Lotus, and it is by Roger Kamenetz, and I drew a lot of inspiration from that. That's where a number of rabbis go and visit the Dalai Lama. And for me, there's actually a lot of intersection. And in the book, it talks about that a little bit, where Buddhism and Judaism kind of diverge and where they intersect. And part of the book is really looking at different religions and kind of like a Venn diagram, like where do the religions intersect in that very center. And that's what I've always been interested in. And that's what I made the character have that interest, to have fun exploring that. So I guess for me, the biggest thing for Buddhism is, is the meditation and believing in sort of the journey of the soul. And when I took a class on Kabbalahism, which actually is the spiritual part of Judaism, there was a lot of intersection, because they do believe in the journey of the soul in Judaism. And I found that really refreshing, that they overlapped more than I thought.
Okay, and are there any big parts you had to cut from the book during your writing? And if so, why?
Yeah, so I love this. They're actually, I may give a little spoiler, so you can hear me if you don't want a spoiler, but there's a scene at the office, and it's moderately violent, because I had to get Adam out of the office. So we have a scene where there's a knife scene, and when I first wrote it, it was actually a gun scene, and it was too traumatic. And I wrote it, and I wrote, kind of edited a couple of times, but I couldn't do it. It was actually right around the time of the Newtown tragedy, and it was way too much for me. So I changed it to a knife scene. Nobody gets hurt, somebody gets injured, but I had to edit that out. That was the main one, I think. And actually, the book started, there was a lot more of Adam and his neuroses, and I did tame that down. Believe it or not, I kind of tamed it down so that you got more of Jacob's perspective commenting on Adam. And I think that made some of Adam's behavior more tolerable.
Okay. And will you include some hiking experiences in your next novel? That's from Ivy.
That I will, yeah. Although it's funny, Tom and Julia and I are even thinking about like kind of a 3-part series. So it'll either, I'm very ambitious. It'll either be the second book or the third book. But as some of you may or may not know, I hiked Mount Kilimanjaro, and that was 2 years ago, my goodness. And that was an incredible experience. And actually that, a little bit like the book, it was a lot of mental things for me, which it was just absolutely great experience. And I want to incorporate that into a future book. We're working on that. So I have a couple of places we know they're going.
Okay, and we have probably time for another couple of questions here. We have one from Mark, who says, first of all, thank you, and I'm completely buying the book, so that's a good sign. I recently self-published my first novel, and I have 2 questions. Writing style, did you write scenes and link together, or write just start to finish? And then the second one is on promotion tactics.
Okay, so yes, I was a couple of different ways. I was just journaling and writing. And then that was one of the harder parts to kind of link the scenes together. So I am a big outline guy, so I started with the outline, but then I felt it boxed me in a little bit too much. So sometimes I would just write, and then I'd realize and put it aside, and just write more and put it aside. And then eventually I would say, oh, this could go there. And then sometimes I just had to scrap a lot of stuff I was writing because it just didn't fit within the story. And the way I look at my book is like a 3-act play. And, you know, sort of the beginning with Jacob and just how snarky he is. And then the middle, like trying to heal him and getting into some funny adventures. And then the end where you get into the sort of that spirituality. I want that to be a little bit of a surprise for those who haven't read it. And I think there's some really good books on book writing, Mark, that I would suggest. There's Save the Cat writes a novel. It's also a movie writing book, but that was helpful. I mean, again, you don't have to be so strict with it, but it's just good to get some guidance about how to structure a book.
Okay, and there's one here on hypnotherapy. Have you found a lot of success with hypnotherapy the same way that Adam had in the novel?
I have, yeah. So that's based on some of my experiences, a little bit exaggerated, but I'm a big believer in, as I said, the body following the mind. And there's a lot written about like the subconscious mind. A really great book I read was Many Lives, Many Masters. If anybody's interested, it's such a great book by Brian Weiss. And that really expanded my mind, not just to Western medicine, but to Eastern medicine, which talks a lot about the subconscious mind and kind of how it's there and doesn't really believe in time. So something that happened to you as a 6-year-old or an 8-year-old is actually still stuck in there. And I loved hypnotherapy because it can kind of really get back to things that you may not have remembered but are stuck with you. And even little things like a teacher yelling at you, it could still be in your mind and affect you. And I've had I feel like it really helps clear your mind and helps you kind of realize like pieces fit together. Sometimes you have a little bit of distorted thinking and it helps release that.
Okay, and actually there's one more we will close with because it's such a great last question. If you had one message from this book, what would it be?
I guess for me, I want somebody to really take what they want from the book, but I think I said this to Tom. I would say, for me, if you told me that you were educated and entertained, that's really what I'm going for. I mean, I think that some people will hopefully love the story and hopefully they get both the story and the education out of the meditation and learning about Buddhism and Judaism and different religions. But if I make you laugh, I'm really happy. If you say, hey, let me learn about meditation, that would be great. Sorry, I'm rambling a little bit, but I hope.
Perfect. No, that's great. Okay, so that's fabulous. Now we're going to bring Eileen back into the picture here, and we're going to do a little pop culture trivia. So let me get her back on.
Hey everybody, so welcome to the pop culture trivia sort of after party. As you mentioned, as Blaine mentioned, he's a big Seinfeld fan. So the 3 TV shows that we're going to be talking about are Seinfeld, Breaking Bad, and Curb Your Enthusiasm. How it's going to work, we're going to have 2 trivia questions for each show, and then we're going to ask people to write the answers in the chat, and Leslie will catch who answered first. And the prizes are personalized signed copies of Journey of Ajubu, the award-winning Journey of Ajubu. And the way you will receive your book is just to go on Blaine's website and contact him that way, so you can provide your mailing instructions and information about signing it. So again, it's journeyofajubu.com, and that's how winners will get their prizes. So without further ado, let's just dive in. We're going to talk Seinfeld now. We also tried to tie in some questions to the book.
Can I just interject just a moment and just make sure you do put it in the chat and not the Q&A, So put them in the chat because that's the one I'll be monitoring. Okay.
Terrific. So here we go. Dentist offices and medical settings at large are always sterile, but on one Seinfeld episode, there's a break in protocol. Who dropped junior mints into a patient while watching an open room surgery?
Okay, we have the first winner, Stephen Corey here.
Here we go. Congrats. It was Kramer, my friends. Sounds George-like, but it was Kramer. Okay, similar to the diner where Jacob pitches his book to literary agent Maggie, what's the name of the cafe Elaine and the guys visit daily? Come on, all you Seinfeld enthusiasts.
That's a tough one.
A little tough.
Come on, you guys should know this. No.
Not
No,
yet.
not Grenadina, not Tom's, not Last Drop.
No.
No.
I did know this when you asked me, Aileen. Remember that?
I know. Let's see. Can we give some sort of hint? Begins with an M.
One word.
Yeah,
Somebody.
somebody got it here.
There you go.
Very good.
And I was going to say you could find them at the Buddhist monastery.
I was going there. Great. Okay, that was Elliot. Terrific. Okay, we're switching it up, going to a little Breaking Bad trivia. Here we go. Much like Journey of Ajubu's narrator, Jacob, who has the alter ego Adam, what's the name of Walter White's alter ego?
That was quick.
That was quick. Nathan, you got it. Heisenberg. Okay, here we go. What government agency does Walter's brother-in-law Hank work for? Here's a little hint. Jacob's drug of choice is gummy bears. I think we got it, right?
Kristen, is it?
Yep, Kristen. Okay, you guys are good. Can't stump you guys. Okay, moving on to Curb Your Enthusiasm. Adam Friedman, DDS, would definitely want to know, how did Larry's front teeth get knocked out? Specifically, what game was being played when it occurred? Or what activity?
This is a tough one, I have to say.
A little bit of an inside scoop here.
I did not know the answer to that one, Aileen. You stumped me.
Did. Nope, it's not baseball. Sort of close.
That's close, Craig. That's close.
In that sort of swinging theme.
Should we give a hint?
A lot of candy comes flying out.
You need a baseball bat to do this.
Correct. Oh, there we go.
Now, Kristen already won one prize. So is there anybody? Well, it's already, that's fine. That's good.
Okay.
That's good.
All right. Next question.
That was Kristen again.
Both, well, maybe Kristen has somebody in the family she can
That's true.
send the second book to. Terrific. Both Adam and Jacob are obsessed with TV. Which celebrity did not appear on Curb Your Enthusiasm? John Hamm, Jerry Stiller, Rita Wilson, or Alanis Morissette? Which one did not appear on the show?
Looks like Lemore.
Yep, there we go. Jerry Stiller. Throwing a little like Seinfeld
I love that.
stuff in there as well. You would think that he would have been on the show, but
I know, isn't that funny? A little crossover there. I like it.
right, a little crossover. Terrific. Well, thanks for playing along, everyone. Again, contact Blaine through his website, journeyofajubu.com, and he will happily personalize his award-winning debut novel and get it sent out right away. And Leslie is going to let you know how to, the non-winners can get a copy of his book. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Aileen.
So yes, and I'd like to thank, I'll come back on the screen here as well. Well, let's bring Tom back on as well, if I can get Tom up here. All right, so here we all are. Yes, I'd like to thank Books on the Common who co-sponsored this event, of course, and also to say that you can purchase signed copies from the book directly from Books on the Common. You'll have to give them a call at 203-431-9100 or by emailing them at info@booksonthecommon.com. Just go to the website and find that information out. The books can be ordered directly from the store, they can be picked up, they have the lobby pickup, curbside delivery, or they can be shipped to your house. So be sure to go to Books on the Common and get one of Blaine's books, or 2 or 3 or 4. Okay. Well, is anything anyone else wants to say? You want to have a last word, Blaine, before we leave this evening?
I just want to thank you again, everybody, for all your time and support. It's been a lot of fun, and yeah, I'm humbled. So I'm really glad we got to do this and get it out there, and we'll continue the journey. Thank you.
All right. Bye, everyone. Good
Bye.
night.
Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Brush up on your trivia.
Thanks, everybody.